What's going on, everybody? Your boy Man Up, back at you with one more video today. Wow, I was sent this article, and I hope this is a real true thing that's finna get ready to happen. A lot of men have been saying that they want this. Now, let me tell you why I don't think it's going to happen. The government receives about 60 cents, somewhere around 60 cents on every dollar that is made in child support. See, this is why I was telling women, you're not going to get all of that money. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. For example, let's just say he's supposed to pay $100 a month. You might get, I'm just throwing out a number, you might get like $80 or $70. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You're not going to get the full 100. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's the one reason why I think this mandatory DNA test is not going to happen. With that being said, though, I hope it does. This will put Maury out of business. This will solve a lot of issues. And fellas, if your woman gets upset by this, you don't need to be with her. Because if she did not do anything, she wouldn't be worried. She'd be like, okay, all right, let's do it. She would not be worried about this. If your woman talking about, how dare they violate my constitutional rights, whatever kind of crap that's finna come out of her mouth, you should not be with that woman. Because why would you get upset if there's a mandatory DNA test? And it's mandatory. It doesn't mean that he has an option or he asks for it or whatever. No, it's mandatory. You have to do it. You see what I'm saying? Like it's mandatory that you got to get something to eat, put something in your stomach. It's mandatory. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they saying it's an option or do you want to? No. You have to do it as soon as the child is born. Swab your mouth, swab the baby's mouth, swab the dad's mouth. So if your woman gets upset, fellas, or try to persuade you not to do it, even though it's mandatory, but if they try to persuade you not to do it, you shouldn't be with that woman. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. In the discussion. Because a woman that has nothing to worry about be like, okay, come on. And then she shouldn't get mad at you because you're not saying that you want this DNA test. You're just complying by the rules. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I hope this is a thing. Now, I got this article from Men's Rights. And, of course, people are asking, about, if this going to happen, when, how does it work, all that good stuff. Because we know there are paternity fraud. We know that there are men out there paying for a child that is not his. We know that the women step out in the relationship. That's the reason for that's the reason for DNA tests in the first place. Things like that. Sorry, I was a little parched. Had to get something to drink there. All righty. Try to be funny. That's all. I'm just trying to be funny when I said that. But my whole thing is this here. I agree with this. I know some ladies out there is not going to agree, and that's fine. I agree with it. This will solve a lot of issues right off the bat. It's not going to say your lady didn't cheat on you. It's just saying that that baby is yours. That's all it's saying. Now, because the reason why I agree with this is because, like I told y'all before in previous videos, I have been through things like this by 2 different women. I have suffered this fate by 2 different women. One of them is my ex-wife, and she still refuses to tell her daughter that I'm not the father. I had to tell her. Her daughter's like, what, 24 years old now? 23, 24? And I had to tell her, I'm not your father. It was a court-ordered DNA test. I took the test. Bam. I'm not the father. She refuses to tell her daughter. Even to this day, 20-something years of this girl's life. And then an ex-girlfriend of mine, pregnant by another guy, found out. She tried to put me on child support. I had a gut feeling the child wasn't mine, but you never know. Took a DNA test because you try to put somebody on child support, they got to take the test. I'm not the father. Now, I haven't heard from that ex-girlfriend since then, but it happened to me twice. So a person who's been through something knows how stuff like this feels. Hell yeah, I want the mandatory test. Because it's messed up. These women are willing to lie and mess up their kids' life for whatever their personal reasons are. Whether it's so they won't be embarrassed and look bad, whether it's money, or they just love this guy and don't want to lose that guy. Whatever the case is, why they do it, they are more than willing to mess up their kid's life for their own personal gain, their own personal benefit. I'll put it like that. So yeah, fellas, I think that's a good idea. Hopefully this does happen. But like I said, the only reason why I don't think it's not going to happen is because of money. And the government gets paid like 60 cents on every dollar for child support. And my personal opinion is not going to happen because of that. And the reason why is because this country here is nothing but that dollar sign. They don't give a damn about you. That's why, fellas, you got to start protecting yourself. You got to. I know I'm finna say something that I know is going to be difficult for us men, but we got to do it. And what that is, excuse me, and what that is, don't have sex with these ladies. Or if you can't hold out, get you some B condoms. I did a video about that about a week or so ago. Get you some B condoms. That's the name of the product. B condoms. The letter B and condoms. Look it up. You'll see. It's on my channel. I did it like a week before this video. Something like that. At the end of the day, all I'm saying is this here. I think this is a great idea. Why didn't we think of this to do this sooner? You see what I'm saying? Why didn't we think to do this sooner? This would have solved a lot of issues. Like I said, Maury made a fortune. He makes $87 million a year. I did a video about that too, about a year or so ago. He makes a fortune based on other people's drama. He is famous for saying, you are the father, you are not the father. He is famous for saying that. Excuse me. So this video, if I'm going to tie into another video I'm going to do. But that's the reason why I say, if we did this, ooh-wee, man, you just don't know. You just don't know. It will solve a lot of issues right off the bat. As soon as that baby is born, you get your test back in like a couple of days, or sometimes the same day. No, when I took it both times, it was like a week or so later. Probably because I got in the mail, so I'm gonna say like two or 3 days later. Probably because I got the results back in the mail, so that's probably why it took so long. But anyway, I'm gonna say like 2 or 3 days later. Usually y'all still in the hospital, come back, and they'll say, you are the father, you're not the father, give you the paperwork, whatever they're gonna do. However they proceed to do this. I hope this does happen. Because at the end of the day, man, I know I said this, I'm gonna say it again. This will solve a lot of issues. That's what y'all not understanding. This will solve a lot of issues. I'll be right back. Let's take a small intermission. I'll be right back. Alrighty, y'all, I am back. And this is what I'm talking about. Read this article. A man disliked his daughter-in-law to the extent he was convinced she had cheated on his son. One time when the grandkids were at his house, he took them for a DNA test, results of which showed they didn't share the DNA with him. He, of course, told his son. Daughter-in-law was outraged and insisted on a repeat DNA, which showed that the children really belonged to her husband. And that's how the old man discovered that the young man was not his son. If you're not understanding that, what it is, this old man and his son are not related. That's not his son. That's how he found out through a DNA test that he was trying to figure out for his grandkids. See, this is why I think DNA tests should be mandatory at birth. A lot of these men would not be paying child support for a child that's not his. They would not be dad by default. Oh yeah, look up those stories. There's a bunch of them. There's one guy in Detroit, Michigan, I think it is, or whatever. I think it's Detroit, Michigan. $30,000 for a child that's not his. You're like, what? Proved it, took a DNA test, proved it. The judge still said he's the father, no matter what. Did you hear what I just said right there? He took a DNA test, ended up proving that the child was not his, and he's still on the hook for child support. It's one like that also in Houston. It's one like that in Colorado. It's one like that, I can't think of them all, but it's several men going through this. Why? Because the women need benefits that signs whoever name on that paper, and the judge automatically, you the father. Just because the woman signed that man's name because she needed benefits. Isn't that crazy? See, stuff like this will solve a lot of issues. But I know women don't care because it's benefiting them. That's one reason why they don't want no mandatory DNA test. Because of stuff like this. They're not being affected. It's a personal gain for them. You see what I'm saying? Just like women love to protect themselves for whatever reason, I'm going to do the same thing if it's me. So with that being said, I'm finna go ahead and end this video. This is your boy Man Up. I'm Charging the Deuce. I'll holler at y'all.